right, so demo work is done. Now it's time to get into the good stuff. Today we have our boys from Supreme Deck Store, and they're putting in our helical piles. Pretty much it is a metal beam that goes right into the ground like this, and it gets drilled, so it's like a big screw to hold up our deck frame. These just avoid all types of digging, inspections, anything like that. They give us a engineer report of how much weight it can carry, and honestly it's a big game changer when it comes to framing your deck and building decks really. All right, so down here we have Hel and Francisco, and he's teaching him how to start leveling out his blocks, because the goal is to teach everybody how to do things. So for example, he's not here, Abiel is not here, and we have someone else to replace him. Over on this side we have Javi. He's removing all the siding that we need to install our ledger board, and we remove the gutters because we're going to reroute them outside of the deck because we don't want to see them right there. And we're going to be putting in our ledger board, flashing it, making sure this thing is ready to go. And then last but not least, we have our crew lead, which is Abiel. And you can see he's very, very hard at work right now. He's checking to make sure our TikToks are performing. So that pretty much does it for this update. We're going to swing it back to the time lapse, and I'll catch you on the next one. So we stopped the time lapse to give you guys an update. Over here we have our footings are in. So here we use our helical piles because we just drive them into the ground, and we're literally framing within the next 20-30 minutes of these being installed. We have our 6x6 with a triple. There's a triple 2x12 by 24 that spans all the way across. That's gonna be the beam that holds the entire deck. And then on top of this, you can see our joists. They're all 2x12 by 24, and they're doubled. They're lapped up together. We still have to put them, we still have to, what's that thing called? We still have to bud them up together. That's the right word. Bud them up together.
with some glue and nails, just so they don't start to split. As you can see, that's what happens when you don't do it properly. So it's easier to put them up there and what's it called, butt them up when they're up here, opposed to doing them down here and then lifting that big ass beam up here. So we're trying to work as fast as we can. Over here, we're finishing up the last part of the framing, where they're putting in the ledger board that's going to wrap around this portion, and then we're going to frame it, because this side, the boards are going to run this way, so then it gives us our entire 20-foot boards to run horizontally here. So over here we have Javi. He's leveling out all our joists, so they're nice and flush with the beam on the end. On this side, we got Chico. He's putting in all the little nails in between in the hangers, making sure everything is nice and secured. And then next thing, he's gonna move over to this side and he's gonna put in all our hurricane brackets in. So quick little tip thing that I do nowadays is I have this little envelope from Amazon, and it's waterproof, it's fireproof, so in case anything happens, our plans are in here. So for example, we have inspection, or for example, we're not going to be here because we have inspection coming. The inspector knows, walk up to this, get the plans, do his thing, put it all back in there, and walk away. So, and then last part of this project, we have our retaining wall that was supposed to be going up, but we stopped because we went to put in our deck first, and we have an issue. We had some pipes that came out this wall right here, and I had my plumber reroute them onto the other side. The issue was that he didn't reroute a line or put something so the water could flow out from here, and literally dropped right here, flooded this space, and collapsed it. So now we have to clean this up, work a little bit backwards, but it is what it is. All right, so the goal is pretty much finishing up our framing, really, and putting up our composite boards going in tomorrow, hopefully, right? And then other than that, we're gonna start cleaning up under here. It looks really, really hectic right now, but this is really the process that it takes. Wires are all over. We got material flying left and right, scrap metal, scrap wood going everywhere. It's all right, it's part of the process. At the end of the day, we clean up everything, make sure we put everything kind of organized, so you stay on track to finishing up the next day's activities. Other than that, we'll cut back into the time lapse, and I'll catch you at the end of tomorrow, probably. So cut the time lapse. We got some updates. We have our deck up. Did we show them the deck before? The deck was up before. Oh, all right. So over here, the boys are installing our composite boards. Once again, we're gonna be using the Summit Series Boulder colorway, and it's gonna look really nice. We got my guy Chico. He's putting in all the little hangers in there. He's putting in every single nail, because when you get an inspection done, you want to make sure every nail, every hole is covered with a nail, because if not, you'll fail. Trust me, I know this from experience. I said it's just one hole, it doesn't matter. And then bam, red sticker. So make sure I have him going around making sure everything is nice. He got the easy job. He's gonna be under this shade and it's 100 degrees. The boys up there are getting toasted. We're gonna start cleaning up over here. Today is gonna be a day that we progress a lot with the decks. So what we'll do is start cleaning up all of these extra scrap boards, any boards leftover, any leftover boards, will then get put in the back of the truck and
hauled out of here. Other than that, on the next video, I'll show you the completed decking, the steps being put up, patio, and retaining wall going in. So stick around for that, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.